We are back with another high level game to watch a point of view of one of the players. So today we are watching Ulysses AOT. He's playing Odin and he is a very strong player. He's top 10 at the moment and he's playing someone called OL Brian question mark, the Kronos player. This is Marsh and I believe he's in the top 100. So it's a quite a high level game and I've been playing quite a lot of Odin recently. I've never really been playing that much Norse, but I find Odin's pretty easy to pick up, so if you haven't played much Norse, I'd suggest Odin. I think he's pretty good. We're joining this one about a minute in, but the basic build is everything over to food. Get a dwarf out nice and early. 2, go over to wood. Then you get the dwarf out as soon as possible. It's very similar to the build which everyone was doing as soon as the game was coming out. It's very similar to my beginner build order. When to get the dwarves out, you get 3 dwarves and then he will most likely build a temple and then get another dwarf out before he advances, depending on what he wants to do. He's against Kronos and I don't know what Kronoses are doing on the ladder. I mean, I don't really come up against many Kronoses. I guess they want to rush, but maybe Marsh isn't really the one to rush. He's got a relatively safe gold mine. I mean, it's kind of out on the side, which isn't great, but it's quite far away from this area. This area has a tower on it. It's going to be really easy to put a wall over here, temple here, and then there's not much you can really do about that. Let's see what some of the relics are. What's this? Fetters of Fenrir, increases villagers' attack. Not really that great. Osberg Wagon, good for the late game, but this is Marsh and he's against Kronos, as we said. Apologies, still getting over the end of a cold. Feel much better, but the cough is persisting. Arrows of Heracles increases the attack of ranged soldiers, so throwing axemen basically. But it looks like he's getting the temple up. The dwarf is coming out. Is he going to go for some kind of 4-minute, or is it just going to be just after that? What's he got? So it's a 4-minute advance time with 4 dwarves. That's actually really nice there. And then bringing over some more gatherers. You want to bring over some gatherers to wood because then you can start to build some extra barracks and things out. Unless he's going over to gold, which would, no. If he was going over to gold, that might be town center, but it'd be a bit of an interesting one against Kronos. So see if he's going to be getting any of these relics with his heroes that he's not got yet, actually, which is just coming out now, because he's just literally got the temple up. But it looks like these ravens are just scouting around to see what the opponent's doing. And which one's he going for? Old Scalagrimmer Kevelstufson. I haven't looked at some of these names, some of the new names. There were some great old ones. Raven scouting the gold mine. Quick temple deconstruction coming in at the perfect time to deny a Valkyrie. But one of the things about Age of Mythology Retold is as soon as that temple comes up, you're going to get a Valkyrie anyway. It's the same as if you drop a dock down and you're in the heroic age, you'll get that free Kraken out just as soon as you can, really. First Raven died because it doesn't have much line of sight now, so this one's just going to be having a look. And he spotted the second town center from the Kronos player. This is something that people like to do with some of these aggressive gods, is they like to put on a little bit of pressure early and then go for a really fast second town center. And what Kronos players like to do is bring the mana over, because buildings built next to manors build quicker. So he's kind of got 2 choices here, and the 2 choices are always going to be drop a second town center of your own, or go all out on some kind of attack early, or maybe some raids early and then go into some kind of heroic age timing, maybe Njord onto these woods here and take down the town center. But we'll have to see. But it looks like what he's doing is probably what I would like to do, which is get out a couple of great halls, build some raiding cavalry, make sure that your opponent isn't getting any of this juicy hunt that's around. Obviously, he's going to get these ones for free, but when those are gone, make sure you're denying all the other hunts that is possible, and then maybe one gold mine. Maybe you want to fight over the next gold mine that's here, but more than likely, we haven't scouted it yet, which is why I do like to do these point of views, but there's probably going to be a gold mine down this side or a gold mine down this side. It's normally how the map spawns. He's got one. Ulysses has one here on this town center, so you would assume that there's one over, there's one for his opponent, O.L. Brian, question mark. So he doesn't know that he's L. Brian or not. Which one are we getting? Gugnir Odin Spear. Increases attack of counter cavalry infantry units. So that'll be your herdman, which get an insane bonus anyway. No forest fire dropped yet. Forest fire apparently gets stronger with ages, which is really interesting. It's something that I didn't know. And the guy's turning around and shanking. Oh, it's because he's got the hero, and that means the Valkyrie's going to have to run away. Gets a nice bonus against units there. And then a little cheeky forest fire with the raiding cavalry just to open up this position more than anything. And that is where the second gold mine is. So actually, yeah, he wants to make sure this is nice and open. And this is so close to the first gold mine, but it's something you can put quite a lot of pressure on. I think that was a really good use of forest fire there, to be honest, just to open everything up, especially if he gets this temple out. And it looks like he's building more raiders and throwing axemen as well. So he's dropped a barracks down. Is it, how many barracks have we got? So we've got 1 barracks and 2 of those long great halls. I always forget what that one's called. I don't know why. Nice targeting down of that hero while the Valkyrie runs away. And the Valkyrie's just always going to be good against the myth units. Myth units are just good against myth units. That's just the name of the game there. And you see how quickly she snipes down the very weak Prometheans. They're very weak, but they're cheap. So that's kind of the drawback of them, is you can mass them, but if you just have one, they're not very strong. But they're very good against human units. It's just if you have Valkyries out, if you have old Angrimir of Almost, I'm going to butcher all these things, then he can take down them really, really easily. So a little bit of pressure put on, but to be honest, he hasn't done too much damage. So the Kronos player is getting away with quite a lot, but once that gold mine's out, is going to be the time where Ulysses can really capitalize on being one town center this whole time. He is causing some idle time. He caused some idle time with the forest fire. He's causing idle time to like 10 villages there, which is like 20 normal villages, which is crazy. These are all out position. So actually, he is getting a little bit of value, and he's scouted that second gold mine, and call it a third gold mine, which is what he wants to do as well. Something you can do as Norse, you can drop buildings anyway. You can drop a building there, and you absolutely know when your opponent's going to go. And the best thing about this map for him, even though it's a closed map, which is obviously more defensive, you can't really sneak past, because he would have to come this way to get a gold mine, unless there's one tucked here or this is open. We haven't seen it yet. But this is one thing about having a closed map, where he knows exactly where all these gold mines are, and he won't really be able to sneak many other ones. And then the nice part about this is he is just going to be getting more food naturally because Odin, and more food because he can get all the hunt that's on the map. A nice shutting down of this extra hunt here, because these aurochs here will have definitely gone, water buffalo, sorry, they will have definitely gone. And nice raven positioning there, and then he can just scout his side. How many hippos there are, it's going to get so much hunt. There's like such a good Odin map. And I've really been enjoying my Odin recently. So here we go. There's a little bit of a wall here, and it'd be good to see if I'm actually doing the right thing. So interesting, getting a second town center, a delayed second town center, 9 minutes in, but he's put the pressure on, got the map presence as it were, and then he can just drop this town center. I don't see a problem with it. I think it is good. The only thing is though, the opponent is obviously got more value out of his second town center, so he might hit some sort of heroic timing push onto it, and that might be the only kind of issue with that. And we shouldn't really be able to see the opponent of what they're doing, but he is going through Hyperion, which is just quite funny. But it's just something to always note, that if you get the second town center after your opponent, that you basically put the driving seat, or put the opponent back in the driving seat. But he does have a huge army out, does Ulysses, so that's kind of less of a problem. We can see there's 800 gold still in this gold mine, so it's a good time to put some pressure on to kind of force him off and make him think. He might also assume, because he's got his second town center, that the opponent might be going to the heroic cage. Seeing this gold mine here, so this is what I meant about it's kind of hard to sneak it, just because of how close the map is. The ravens here, you can't sneak this one, because there's no open section to kind of go across. And as the two town center player that's on the back foot, you kind of want to sneak a gold mine when you can. So Ulysses covering the gold mines nicely, and it is something that is really important to do. If you ever find yourself in a one town center for a while to two town center, you want to go for a gold starve, or at least try for one. And the best way to do that is either mass units or heroic age quick. But we're going for mass units into two town centers with early buildings, forward buildings, but it's just an armory. So maybe he's looking to go to the next age, something that could be good here. I mean, either or. You could go for Njord to push off some kind of gold mine, or maybe a palace. You could get Njord for that, or you could go for Skadi. And I like going for Skadi, which is what he's going for. I think Frost is really underrated. I don't think people use it properly. You can freeze an entire army and then take down the palace that will be on the gold mine. Or you can freeze the army, take all the villagers out, or even you can just freeze all the villagers and then they can't mine for a minute. Like, it's a really strong god power, but the thing is, in Legacy, it was absolutely broken because it was basically just like deleting an army. It was a frost if you wanted to freeze things. It was also like a curse or a lightning storm. It did everything. Whereas now it's more niche and it does what you would expect frost to do, which is freeze units. But it lasts for so long and you can get so much value. You can wall in, especially on a closed map again. You can wall in, or you can drop your own hill fort down and basically put the advantage back in your, or the fight back in your favor. It's getting some Sesrumnir. Oh, that is an interesting one. Okay. Freya improves the hit points of your heroes. This is a new upgrade, not from the Legacy game. So heroes get 15% more hit points, which is interesting. He doesn't have that many. Unless he's looking to go for Godi or Godi, the ranged heroes. Could be quite interesting. Looks like he's getting some army upgrades too. Nice to do when you're going up to the next stage and you're doing like basically one big fight that you want to finish off the game. He knows that his opponent's over here because the Raven has gone. So he basically just wants to set up a timing now. Or he doesn't. He's just going to go maybe a bit of a raid with these and then be like, I'm just going to drop 3 town centers. And these are more to scout because you know that your opponent's going to have counter units now. You've had raiding cavalry for ages, but the best thing about them is they're so quick. They can just run away. So this is what I expected. I didn't expect 3rd town center. I expected heavy cavalry, huntress axe, heavy infantry, just basically all of the upgrades and then just go for it. But it looks like he's playing it a bit more slow and going for another town center, maybe to catch back up from the villagers. But just a straight gold staff would have been really strong. But maybe chaos is the issue. I mean, so we're playing on a patch where chaos has been nerfed twice in a row. So I think it still feels strong, but they've nerfed it so it costs a bit more to, well... Oh, we've frozen. Can I just press play? Sometimes that happens. I can just press play, and it works. Huge frost. Absolutely huge. And he's going to go for the gold mine, surely. He's going to go for the gold mine. Yes, and this is exactly what we like to see. All those villagers going to have to pull off the gold. And he was just banking on getting a 3rd town center. Maybe he wanted his opponent to come attack him because he saw that he got a 3rd town center. And his opponent's like, well, I've got to put the pressure on now. And just freezing everything, even freezing 3 citizens here. Then the raiders, heavy raiding cavalry comes in, just absolutely goes to town. And this is what you want to see if you have less town centers to start with, is you just want to put on the pressure all in one go and find some kind of huge timing attack. Don't know where these guys are going. Maybe a bell got rung or something. I just absolutely massacre of all these villagers. And the units are still frozen. They're going to be unfrozen now, but Ulysses can just run all his units away. And actually, the opponent just runs back anyway. So, I mean, that was just absolutely brutal. So many villagers went down. He won't have had gold income for a bit. Obviously, we can kind of see, but you wouldn't know how much gold the opponent has in the bank. But he's kind of just dodging the army right now. This is the problem. Like, you have the catapulties, which is the counter unit, but they're not as fast. So you can just kite them around. They're not Aranos, where Aranos gets the tech to get 10% extra speed, so they're just so much faster. But 6.6 raiding cavalry with the Thundering Hooves. So strong. Opponents trying to put walls up. This is when you just mass send in those throwing axemen. Throwing axemen will absolutely tear these catapulties down. Really nice bait out of the chaos there to only use it on those raiding cavalry. That's obviously what he was waiting for. I would have just gone in and been chaosed, because counter units basically counter themselves during a chaos. So it's pretty brutal. Great Jarls coming out. Jarls are just big tanky guys, and I don't know how they fare against the counter units of the catapulties, but they just have so much health. They're basically just meat shields for the damage dealers of the throwing axemen. The throwing axemen will just obliterate everything, and this should be nice and easy here. I mean, he got the hero upgrade, but there's no heroes out. But the satyrs are just getting destroyed by the Valkyries anyways. I was going to have a quick zoom in, but it looks like Ulysses takes that one. I really like that timing. He went for kind of banked on a third town center, but I think it was a bait to get the units out to then hit that huge frost. I think frost is so underrated, and you should be using it in your games. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.